I would love for someone to come in and take down Napoleon Dynamite. What a turd that is. I wish that film would be lit on fire and never seen again.
Funny as shit.
You know what?
That film is less funny than seeing herpes on a chick you meet at a bar. No, thank you.
Those guys are going to be Israel. Did you know that the Napoleon Dynamite guys are going to be in Wichita at the Cotillion doing a watch party? And they're charging people to come watch this show, and then afterwards they're going to do like a meet and greet or whatever and talk about the film.
You can see how their career just flourished. I mean, I will pay them not to just go, you know.
I'll pay to set that film on fire so no one else can be tortured through that ever again.
I'll be there with LaFonda and my chapstick.
Yeah.
So have you already?
Is Uncle Rico going to be around too?
He's supposed to be there. It's
now,
Uncle.
Don't get me wrong, I like the Uncle Rico character.
It's Uncle Rico. It's the Napoleon Dynamite guy, and the little Indian Mexican guy is going to be there. All three. Pedro.
I say get some money. You know what? If I was going to trash any one of them, I only watched this movie because it was on the screen when I was working out at Vasa, and that's Harry Potter. Harry Potter. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, yeah.
Well, it's funny. The most recent episode we just aired it. One guy does the Goonies. Now I'm in my 40s. That's one of the centerpiece films for guys of the 80s and 90s.
That's right.
Goonies. People are getting pissed off that we're going after the Goonies, but I dare you, watch it now and then listen to the episode, because I promise you, at least 25 to 50% of the points we make, you will agree with. And I promise, I'll probably bet at least one out of you sees our point that it doesn't hold up. Am I going to take it down? No. But am I going to defend it? Absolutely not. But the other two guys, they were not for it.
Well, certain movies are just nostalgic. You know what I mean?
That's it. But when you whip out when you cut out the nostalgia part, like, look, Jaws is a perfect film. That film's over 40 years old, 45 years old now.
Yeah.
So
in theaters.
Nostalgia. Can it hold up? Yes. No. Could this? No, it doesn't. It's like, here's a perfect example. Remember the scene where they're below the well, and they're trying to, hey, those three jocks are going to lower, the bucket down to help bring them up and rescue them. Like, what three dudes are hanging outside of a well, A, with no beer or booze, on B, on a Friday night just hanging out? Like, that doesn't happen in real life. That just doesn't go about. Or where they're holding on to the Josh Brolin on the tricycle, and he goes over the edge. Like, no, he had like 3 feet to make a hard left or right turn. And those guys, by the way, are trying to commit attempted murder. Let's also call that. So
Yeah.
there are problems with this film. But
it's funny.
Start about sloth.
But you know what's funny is there's a couple movies that were not box office. They became like major cult classics, like Big Trouble in Little China and The Monster Squad. But they became big after the fact. They were box office flops. But do you do those type of things on your show as well, since they weren't like box office hits at the time?
Yeah, that's one of the criteria. So, again, one of the three it has to meet. It could be widely beloved, and I would say Big Trouble in Little China definitely falls in that. A box office success or critically acclaimed. So one guy had the balls to come in and do Godfather Part 2 and said it's not good. and he outlined why, and he made some good points. And I'll give you one highlight so I don't ruin the episode for all you guys. He says you take out the De Niro origin story, the whole Vito Corleone story. You take that out of Part 2. Part 2 is not that as great as people made it out to be. What they should have done is take the Vito Corleone stuff, put it in Part 1, made it a 4-hour-plus film, but worth it. Because all the stuff in Part 2, not that hot. The Hyman Roth stuff doesn't really hold up. Fredo's fine, but is it as great as everybody says it is? The only reason why people love it is because of the De Niro origin story, which really should not be in that film. It should be in Part 1.
Makes sense.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, made a lot of sense on that.
We need to get Martin Scorsese on this show so Kevin could shred him.
Kevin loves Martin Scorsese, and he will be doing nothing like that at all, unless someone wants to talk about The Irishman, which dragged on.
I still liked it.
Yeah, it was fine. It wasn't. Listen, it wasn't Goodfellas. It wasn't Casino. That's for sure. It wasn't.
Have you thought about doing movies that didn't get their proper due?
Married to the Mob.
No, well, again, we're trying. No one cares about Married to the Mob. That's something, you know.
I'm just joking.
I'm like, where'd that go? Leonard Part 6, is that your next suggestion? Ghost Dad?
Ghost Dad.
I'll be honest, like one film that I thought was like very overhyped and people just hold it in such high regards is Debbie Does Dallas. I expected more. I'm just gonna be honest.
What did you want? Double anal penetration?
Not double pin.
Yeah, I think
He wanted the rotisserie style for her, and he didn't get it. That's why he's not a fan.
Well, I think one of the movies I was disappointed, but it was a big hit was Blair Witch as a horror film.
Yeah, that's something people can do, but it's going to be really easy to take that down. If you watch it again, it's going to be like, and I did watch it not too long ago, maybe a year or two ago. And again, if it's not for the ending, which ending is great, but it just goes, But one of the guys came on our show and he did The Sixth Sense.
Okay.
And I never liked that from the beginning. I called that ending out in the theater, and people are like, oh, it's so great. No, it's not. That whole film is based on that twist ending, which is kind of lazy. And there are a whole lot of those lazy-esque episodes that go throughout the film. You're like, don't buy that. Like, for a perfect example of that film is when that little girl shows the videotape where he goes to the funeral and he gets the tape to the mom and it finds out, or the dad, and it turns out the little girl was poisoned by her mom.
That's
it's
awesome.
Like, bitch, how about you tell your dad that mom's fucking killing you with poison instead of just making a hidden camera showing her pour poison in your food, you dummy. Like shit like that. I had a real problem with Sixth Sense.
That's awesome.
I agree. That makes sense.
We have got a great guest with us today. Kevin Gootee joins us. He is here to promote his podcast, Gutting the Sacred Cow. Also, he's got a great Amazon show, Comics Watching Comics. And you can get that comicswatchingcomics.com. Israel, go, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no. I was going to say, I kind of felt the same way about Devil's Rejects. That it was like, I don't know. I guess maybe it's cultural. Maybe it's cultural, but the things that scare me aren't that. Like, what scares me is like, I have dreams that I go to my, check and child support is taken out twice. That shit scares me.
Oh.
You know what I mean? That would be a scary movie.
Or when you wake up and you have 2 kids, that would really scare you.
You know what I mean? Or I got to start child support over. I'm like, oh, Lord, but take 52.
Or you wake up and find out that you're a Mormon and have 8 kids and 8 wives, ex-wives.
That too.
That's not right.
It's funny. One movie.
What's 8 times 40? 320.
One movie that I saw that I was pretty disappointed because it's a cult classic, but it was Dolomite. And because I saw a documentary and they promoted it, they mentioned this is the greatest movie. He was on a budget and I'm like, man, I got to see this flick. And I sat there with popcorn and butter and I was ready. And then when I saw it, I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch?
I never saw that. I just saw the Netflix, the Eddie Murphy.
I know. I just seen the Eddie Murphy
which is good, but I never saw the original Dolomite.
No, you'll watch it and you'll shred that shit to shreds. But it became a cult classic and it was a box office hit during that time.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Horrible.
That'd be a good one for someone to give a shot. Yeah, but people have taken out people went for crazy films. Some people went after Star Wars, the original, the Star Wars. Some went after Last Jedi, Avatar, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Some people had the Spaceballs. Some people had the balls to go after some big names here.
Spaceballs was the shit.
Spaceballs was terrible. I fucking hate that film.
All right, Jiggy, I gotta go.
I hate that film. I hate that. I probably should. I'm not a big Mel Brooks guy. Some of his stuff is good, but when it's bad, it is bad. That film is not funny. That's the problem. It's a whole satire, but it's just not funny. It's just lazy, cheesy, hacky shit. I thought.
You just got to be high to watch it, and then you'll get.
Well, there you go. See,
you got to be high to watch it.
In a different state, then it's not funny. That's the point.
I guess when it came out, I was a little kid, so the humor to me at the time was kind of funny. But
watch it now. You weren't laughing. You'll be laughing the same amount of times if you got double bill for child support.
I'm still laughing, but I also liked Howard the Duck as a kid.
Oh man,
Wow,
man.
that was
Ooh,
bad. And
that was horrible.
that was bad as a kid. I'm sure it's been worse as an adult. But man,
Yeah, I mean, I'm 48, and I remember seeing that in theaters, and I just sat there like, holy, what the fuck?
So,
Who paid for that?
so Kevin, has anyone come on and shredded in any of the comic book movies? You know, like Avengers and stuff like that.
well, no, I mean the balls on that to do the Avengers. Let me pull up the list of films. No one's done the Avengers yet because that'd be. Oh yeah. One guy has done. Batman tried to do Batman Begins, which is I love that film. That's a great one. But this cat, if I tell you some of the films that he likes, you're gonna throw him out you throw him off a building. Like the guy
We were talking about people throwing each other off buildings in New York earlier. Angel and Israel were talking about.
This guy will tell you with a straight face that the best Batman film is Batman and Robin. And the best Star Wars film is Episode 1.
Wow.
Yeah, so let's just say that we dealt with him accordingly.
That's a hard sell.
The best Batman was with either with Arnold Schwarzenegger play Freeze,
Oh,
that is Batman and Robin, and that was terrible.
that was
Seriously.
hard.
or the one that was second because the best character, Jiggy knows who I'm gonna say, the best Batman character ever was Bane. He
That's
was the
right,
hardest
Bane.
villain ever. Bane was the
Which one? The Dark Knight? Well, there are two Banes. The Dark Knight Rises Bane, or the one in the shitty Batman and Robin one.
No.
Yeah,
the Dark Knight Rises.
There's the guy with the voice, or there's what was it? Angel, was it Jeff Swenson, the former pro wrestler, was Bane in that movie?
The guy
Jeep
in
Swenson
the,
or
the
whatever?
cheesy one, Swenson, he died of a blood clot, like an aneurysm through his leg. I
Yeah.
think
You
it
don't
went to his
say.
heart. Yeah, he died a long time ago. He's a power lifter and a
I don't know
wrestler,
about
but
that
yeah.
one, but Bane, like his lines, oh man, they're classic. You know what I mean? I love it.
Listen, I like Dark Knight Rises. It's all right, but it ain't the Dark Knight. Let's just start right there. That's the number one by far and away. Let's just.
You
make
talking about
sure
with the Joker?
Yeah. Don't add me. That is the best one of them all. So many different things happen in that. It's bad. It's even without Ledger, which is great. That's still a solid movie through and through.
I just got to see you, Kevin, to good.
Oh, he did great. I think maybe it's just me personally. I identify with Bane a little more because Bane did maybe the wrong thing, but for a righteous reason.
Sounds like someone did time in jail.
Awesome.
Maybe I don't know. I don't know, you guys. Maybe you did. I'm sure you've done your time and you're a upstanding citizen now.
Absolutely. But I guess it just depends on what type. Maybe Joker was doing more white collar crime.
I mean, he was doing some gangster shit too, though, at the same time. But I mean, he wasn't ripping off insurance companies, that's for sure.
So, Kevin, you must be chipping at the bit to see it once the new Batman with what's the actor Patterson? I think is his name.
Pattinson,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not really. How many times? I mean, I don't know. But then again, I said the same thing when they said Heath Ledger would be the Joker. I mean, they announced that and Brokeback Mountain was still in the theater. Go, oh, get the fuck out of here. And then it came out, he destroyed. So, will I see it? Of course I'll see it. Do I have high hopes? I don't have high hopes. I'll see.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm going to see it, but then I'm like, But it's almost the same thing when Daniel Craig, when he became the James Bond, people wasn't feeling him until once he did it. They were like, oh man, he was good, but they were shredding him.
Yeah.
The first 5 minutes of Casino Royale, you're like, yeah, I'm sold. I'm down with that.
Yeah, but he wasn't sold when he was promoting it. They were making him look like Curly.
No. Well, same thing too for the Joker film. You're like, who gives a shit? And then it turns out it's amazing.
I still haven't seen it.
Really? Actually, we got our next guest. The next 2 films we're doing on the podcast are The Joker and Taxi Driver. So we'll see how those are. Yeah.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, we're gonna hear a lot of that. I haven't watched that in years, but The Joker's dope, man. That guy's gonna have a hard hill to climb.
I definitely got to check it out. I'm just waiting for it to come on Amazon Prime or Netflix free before I buy it.
Before you buy it.
I guess I just grew up with a whole bunch of crazy ass white boys, so it didn't appeal to me that much. Like,
So Kevin, what was the idea behind starting the podcast and the Amazon show? Because you've got some cool ideas here.
Hey, thanks, man. That's really kind of you to say. That's a little bit about me in a nutshell. I work in corporate America, and I'm trying to get the fuck out as hard as I'm sure you guys are trying to get out of your jobs, whatever you do.
Well, I just got out, got laid off, so yeah, I got out on the.
I mean, voluntarily, and financially and voluntarily walking out. So I'm sorry to hear that, man. That sucks. But yeah, so it's like I've been in corporate America for a while, and I've done stand-up now for 10 years, and it's funny when you get in stand-up, you think this is the only thing I'm going to do. But then these other things start happening. Like I literally fell in the voiceover 5-6 years ago, and I started having ideas for shows. And I think with the shows, with Comics Watching Comics, and especially with Gutting the Sacred Cow, I love taking ideas that are established, but then creating an insane hook to kind of separate myself from the pack. So with Gutting the Sacred Cow, I mean, how many movie podcasts are there out there? 4 dudes jerking each other off, talking about fucking movies over craft beer is boring. No one wants to hear that shit. But when I get people who want to listen to, go after a film, they'll yell at their phones or their iPad. And I have people on the iTunes reviews saying I yell at my phone when listen to you guys, and I love it. So it's just like the bottom line is creating shows that are just different, but common themes, but are way different to get people hooked.
That is fantastic. Well.
That's dope. That's real, like entertaining because we're in a world full of content. You know what I mean? Everybody wants their content, and it doesn't really make sense to reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Add your own, deal to it. So yeah, that's pretty dope. I like it.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
I think you should do overlooked movies too.
Well, again, here's the thing. We'll do whatever the guest chooses the film. The only time, and I told this one guy, he's a German guy, so he's not really, whatever. I'm German too, I shouldn't say that. But he didn't get the point. He's like, let me pick this film. I go, dude, no one has heard of that. And he goes, well, how about this one? It's a widely independent film. I go, great, no one has heard of that. No one's going to get angry. I want people to say, what? This dude, like one of my good friends, she went after Pulp Fiction. Like, what are you kidding me? Pulp Fiction is perfect. Like, or Star Wars, or The Matrix, or someone did Gone with the Wind, which sucks, by the way. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. Or Grease. I hate musicals.
Hey, Hattie McDaniel is from Wichita.
From Wichita, yeah.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Well, she won the Oscar. First black woman won the Oscar. Actually, you guys know that. But yeah, it's
why? Because I'm black.
What's that?
Because I'm black, I should know that.
No, both of you are black.
It wasn't that far away. Only April.
It'd be like someone wanting to choose that. God, what the hell was it called? It was the Russian version of the Avengers. It was. Were they?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm very much interested.
This guy turns into a bear. There's a woman who.
Listen, you keep your gay porn searches to yourself. I don't hear that shit right now.
and
Super Troopers, get bear fucker.
That's right.
Super Troopers is the shit. I seen somebody online today, and their name was called Ramrod, and I loved it because I knew where it was automatically.
Well, the only reason I love that movie is because I was a cop, and I can relate to things. That's
you were a cop. What was your day job you got let go from? If you don't mind me asking.
No, I was a cop for a while, but I was working at Spirit Aerospace. I was in the aircraft business, but I was a cop I was in law enforcement for a very long time after
Spirit,
wrestling.
as in the airplanes that that are like dead last to take off, and they charge you to breathe the air.
Damn right.
Y'all never get on Spirit because I've got a few more bucks in my pocket. That's the great hand of the sky. No, thank you.
There's a difference between Spirit Airlines and Spirit Aerosystems.
There you
He's
go.
talking about Spirit Aerosystems, not
I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, Aerosystem.
Big difference, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, never mind.
Hey,
for later.
I appreciate y'all, man. I gotta go.
Hey, that's fine.
I'm gonna say go to the website, which is iz-316.com.
Always gotta get the plugs in.
316.com. Or you could just Google me. You can do your Googles. IZ316. Check out my YouTube videos. I haven't been doing any lately because I've been doing these videos for the new album. The new album, Melanin Suns, is coming out too. I got the new single coming. Peace. I love y'all. Kev, I'm going to go look for you.
Hey, man, likewise. I'm going to check you out as well.
Appreciate it, Israel.
Peace.
So
Oh, well,
Kevin,
before Ziggy, before
Go ahead.
plug in
Jump
my
in
shit. Coon in the Room. That's my website.
Okay.
No, just kidding.
It's cool in the room.
Can I buy that website domain? Is that open?
You
still?
can have it. That's my
Kevin,
up on the shelf.
man. Don't do it.
It's
Don't
not
do
for
it.
me. It's for my friends. No.
Oh Lord, that's make it work. No cupcake for you, Kevin.
Oh
No
shit.
cupcake.
Kevin, the reason it's funny that I brought it up because a friend of mine was always talking about Elf on the Shelf, and I'm like, man, I got a marketing idea. I'll get a little black doll and call it Coon in the Room, and you just put it all over the motherfucker and sell the shit out of it. I could get away with it. Look at this nose.
Can you imagine like the hipsters in like Williamsburg trying to buy that and go, now we're gonna be equal, and then have to explain what a Coon in a Room is to their kids? Can you imagine that?
so Kevin, give us the schedule. When do you upload the podcasts, and how frequent new episodes on the Amazon show?
Yeah, so the podcast comes out pretty much every Friday or Saturday. It depends on when my lazy ass finally gets to it. But with Corona right now, I've got plenty of time to get things done. So it's usually every Friday. So wherever you listen to podcasts, subscribe to it. I just created a YouTube channel because, again, quarantine gives you a lot of free time to get a lot of things done that you normally can't get done.
Yes.
So now you can see us do it, and then we're going to do premieres, I think. We'll do like a watch party where you guys can jump in the chat and talk to us, and we'll hang out live. But so now we're on YouTube, and now we're on we've been on the podcast forever. So Friday or Saturdays, but subscribe to whatever platform you're on. Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google, Spreaker, Stitcher, whatever.
And can
And
you
that's
give me
usually,
that
like I said,
name
every
again?
Friday.
What's
Sorry?
the name of the podcast so I can look it up on my phone?
Yeah,
right now?
it's called Gutting the Sacred Cow.
Fantastic.
Yeah. As for Amazon, for Comics Watching Comics, we're on hiatus with that, and here's why. Amazon, it's not Amazon original programming. I do all the funding for the show, and I've got 8 seasons on in the bag already. They're up there. And so I'm trying to sell that puppy to a network. So if any of your listeners out there want to give that a gander and let's pitch that to a network, we can get some money, by all means. So whenever I get some more money coming in to do that, then I'll make more. But right now, Comics Watching Comics is on hiatus. But like I said, you've got 8 seasons to bang through. So again, quarantine time, kids. You can quarantine and chill and watch Comics Watching Comics seasons 1 through 8 on Amazon Prime. That's right. They're free right now for you, my good men. So you can go bang out those and check them out. And what is that show? Glad you asked. It's a combination of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
That's what I was going
and
to
Last
ask.
Comic Standing. So the combination of both. And I think it's funny, obviously, but it's we got some cool people on there, some big names on there too, well, bigger names I should say. So,
well, Kevin, I just subscribed to it, just to give you that support. I'm definitely going to listen to it and get entertained while I'm on the toilet because that's the only time I have privacy. So, but that's awesome.
Appreciate the support. I appreciate it, fellas.
Got to support everybody, man. Got to support it.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, this has definitely been fun. I like that you know how to do Skype because I definitely will have you back because you are fantastic, my friend, and this has been a fun interview.
Thank you so much.
I
appreciate that. Kind of you guys to say those kind words. This is fun, man. We're done already? Come on. I got quarantined. There's nothing else to do.
Well, how often are you on Skype? Because we do a Sunday show, and I may just randomly Skype you Sunday.
I mean, if I'm on the computer, whenever. But during football season, I'm never on because I'm gambling and watching football.
Well, you're not watching the XFL because that just went bankrupt.
Yes.
I was watching it to begin with, but so that's a non-issue for me.
It wasn't bad. It was something to watch. It was entertaining.
But it wasn't good either. I saw someone on a plane and it was like 9-3 in the fourth quarter of the game I was watching. I was like, ugh. But I was starting to try and figure out the handicapping of it again because I bet the NFL like crazy. I was trying to figure it out in the XFL, and I was starting to. My buddy was actually having some really good picks come down, and right when I was ready to start taking bets with him on the games, the Corona hit, and then out. So,
well, the sad part is, it was a failure back in the days. I even got one of the footballs, and then they didn't even get out the gate technically. They just had a couple, and now it's like the shits. And that's the thing. Now he's got I hate knocking on because I work for Vince, but I'm just saying that it's just.
You worked for Vince, or you worked for Vince?
Yeah, no, I was with ECW, so I was part of that locker room, kind of, sort of. So
you're an ECW wrestler.
Yeah.
Oh, you say it like I know who you are, man. Hold on.
You should, man. I even got my own action figure. Look, I even got my own action figure. Look at that.
Look at that shit.
The only thing missing is the blonde hair, and then you'd be then you'd be Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man.
There you go. But he's too dark. I'm like
I love that.
Color.
He's too dark. That's right. You are definitely the light skinned one of the pair. And you pay your taxes too. So
there you go.
Too.
But you're not Blade, so you can also weigh that one in too.
I'm falling between Michael Duncan from the Green Mile and a fat Vin Diesel.
Let me fix
Wow.
Michael Duncan black though. He was super like dark skin. And then Vin Diesel, that's is that a mocha or is that a that's chocolate?
Is that a mocha?
Like mocha.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
Well,
did you make the jump when ECW got bought by WWF?
No, I was kind of like in hiatus due to the fact that he signed everybody who was on the contract. So he owned the rights to everybody who was on the contract. So I was kind of a free agent. So I went to Puerto Rico and worked for a company called IWA, and I was down there.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Man, if I watch wrestling, I could talk to you for hours, but I haven't watched wrestling since The Rock and Stone Cold fought back in like 2001. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was fun.
It's not good anymore. I've tried to watch. I have friends who still watch it. I even watched the Raw anniversary from like a year or two ago. It's not. The new guys are so uncharismatic. It's just not. It doesn't have that. Again, that Attitude Era. The 80s were great. We all know that. And the Attitude Era as well. That was the late 90s stuff was insane. That was awesome. But it's just now you're like, oh, no thanks.
Yeah, I've been out of the business. I mean, I'm still in the business, but once you're in the business and you just don't want to watch it. It's when I was a cop, I never watched cop movies, and when I was in wrestling, I just stopped watching wrestling. I just was in the business. It's like I don't know. I don't know how it is in comedy, but I mean, if you watch a lot of comedy movies, you're like, I do it for a living. I don't want to watch it every day.
I mean, we watch a lot of specials because we want to see what everyone's up to and see what their new specials are like. So yeah, we do watch a lot of comedy in the game. So, but comedy movies, there's not many comedy movies out. And I mean, again, probably most of them are pretty bad. Some are pretty much spot on, but most are bad.
I agree. I agree.
Well, Kevin, I appreciate the time, and I will be in touch, my friend. And now that I have got your Skype, I will be in touch. We'll get you on the Sunday show sometime.
Boys, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Tag me on social media. I'll be glad to reshare for you guys and retweet and all that stuff.
Yes,
I definitely would do that. Hey, it was a pleasure meeting you, man. It was funny. I would definitely listen to your shows. I mean, it's all about charisma, and he has charisma. If he was the shit, I would definitely fucking not put you over. But no, definitely. Even if your show sucked, out of loyalty to you, because I like you, I'll even watch it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Because you're a great guy.
I promise you that.
No, I'm not saying it is, but since you're a great guy, even if it did suck, I would just watch it because you're a great guy.
Oh, man, that's so kind of you guys to say that. Thank you so much.
That's
I
awesome.
appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
again, fellas. Take care. Have a good one.
Stay safe, man.
Likewise, guys. Be safe. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. And there we go. And we are going to take a time out. And when we come back, we have got more on the other side.